I didn't grow up in a Christian home. We were churchgoers, but that was just about it. I got born again in college. I was singing in a choir, like an academic choir that would travel to different churches, and I heard the gospel message for the first time, and I knew that was something that I really, really needed. I ran to the altar, I believe, even before they offered Christ. I was just down there weeping like, I need this. Just growing up in a broken home, my parents had divorced. Music had become something that I hid behind to feel significant and to just feel important. But God knew He wanted to just really do a deep down soul work in my heart. And so that began a process of my just getting to know Jesus and Him transforming my heart. And it's been a journey. But I'd say in college and meeting Seth and marrying him, I think he brought I'm a feeler, and he's very much so a thinker. He just brought a lot of discipleship depth into my walk with the Lord, and so that's my short version of how I came to know Jesus.
Yeah, I grew up in a kind of small town Pentecostal church. A lot of great folks. A little bit on the wild side at times. We had the occasional runner in service.
Really?
Oh, yeah, man. One guy actually missed the corner and ran right into the wall. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
But no, it was, one of the great emphases in that church was on experiencing God. And I really did have, a couple moments in youth group where I connected with God in a way that was really deep. And it was hard. It was difficult to simply explain away as some kind of psychological phenomenon or something like that. It really was this real encounter, and people would come and speak to me and say something that was so specific in my life and speak into something that I was just praying about that I'd never even seen before. And so I had those great experiences growing up, which I'm thankful for, walked with Jesus at an early age. In college, actually in high school and college, I really began to wrestle with intellectual doubt, and I became a math major in college, and so I was kind of just kind of left brain analytical thinker, and a lot of the questions I just didn't have good answers to, and in my churches it just was of a particular stream that didn't encourage questions and made you kind of feel like any doubts or thoughts like that were sinful and to be kind of hidden and just willed away. So it wasn't a good environment for me. It kind of sent me into a negative place for quite a while. But even in that, I feel like God providentially placed the right person in my life at the right time. And I would find a book here, I'd find this teacher that would really help. And it was kind of a 10, 15-year journey of wrestling with God and walking through these deep issues.
10 years, it's a long time.
It was a long time, even into our marriage. Yeah. She kept like saying, why are these books coming in from Amazon every day? What's happening? And then I'd be in my room for hours just reading and so, seeking truth and trying to do my best to understand. Finally, I found a college, a university out in LA called Biola University, and got connected into their master's program in science and religion, and that kind of brought some structure, some good mentors, and since then, man, it's really helped me. I think even during that time, I didn't walk away from God though, because I had these deep experiences. I knew there was some central things to Christianity that I could sort of hang my hat on, but at the same time, I was like, man, I don't feel confident about it. So it's sort of in a faith seeking understanding, seeking confidence through that 10, 15-year process. And I still will have things that I have a Word document on my computer. It's called Bag of Questions. And I'll still get one. I'll write it there. And when I can pull it off the shelf and look into it, I do. But I don't have the same kind of deep anxiety inducing moments that I used to with it. And so that's been great. And through that, man, I feel like God has deepened my walk with Him and really given me a heart for people that go off to university and struggle with their faith. And that kind of led us into doing young adult 20-something ministry for a few years. And so I feel like the stuff I learned, I was able to pass on to people in that same situation, and it turned out to be helpful for them. So
this is Premier Christian Radio, where faith comes to life.